Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Well, this is my YouTube channel, and my name is Cindy Bennett. Thank you for coming to my channel, and I am interviewing Mary, my good friend Mary. How are you today, Mary?
Good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to see
So
you.
I'm just making sure that we're on. I have my iPad next to me here. I don't see it yet. This is a new form that I'm using. Yep, I see us now. This is called StreamYard. So this is a new, I have some friends that we kind of watch each other's videos and stuff. So those are my friends. I was hoping some of our mutual friends would meet up with us here. So Mary, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Mary Winslow. I live in Barnstead, New Hampshire, and been married. This year will be 32 years. Have 14 children, 2 biological, 12 adopted, almost 10 grandchildren. And
Almost 10?
Mhm.
Wow. Wow. I know you have a new one coming.
Yeah, Maddie's
Right.
next month.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to count how many, let's see.
So
3,
Brittany has 4.
4, right.
Up
She has a
she has
boy. That's
4.
right.
They had a little boy
Yeah.
in January, their first boy, 3 girls and a boy. And his name is really awesome, Onesimus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew it was the Oni, but I didn't know the whole name. Okay.
And so that's super
Great.
cool, I think. Um, Brittany, when they found out it was a boy, they were so excited and they went to look up some interesting, unusual biblical names. And so when her husband got home from work, she presented that almost a little bit thinking he wouldn't really like it, and he loved it. So they didn't even consider any others, and it's been that ever since.
Wow.
Yep.
That is so exciting.
It has
Yeah,
really cool
I
names.
had a few names that Norm said no, like Obadiah. That was one. He said I was like, you could call him Obed. But no, he didn't go for that one. That would have been Evan. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's great. Okay, so Brittany has 3, Brittany has 4.
Brittany has
Maddie has
Maddie has 2 girls, Becca and Addie, and then she had a miscarriage
okay.
last year, and so this is her rainbow baby
Yes.
after the miscarriage, and so yeah, and it's a boy, and so
Okay.
he's going to be named Delwyn, which is Mitchell, Maddie's husband's grandfather's name. So
Oh,
that's a
awesome.
family name, which is really cool. So Delwyn Michael, and he's
Okay.
due, I think he's due July 20th. I feel like that's the last due date, and that's the day that our daughter Joanna passed away. So it's kind of cool
Oh, wow.
that new life is being
Yes.
considered on that day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then 2 by Grace, who has the twins.
Grace has twins, and they'll be 1 July 17th on that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Right around that same time too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
We
is
were
so
down
awesome.
visiting the twins when Joanna died. So yeah.
Right, right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary and I go way back. Like, how
Yeah.
many years do you think, Mary?
I was trying to figure that out because Maddie's going to be 25 on her birthday.
Okay.
So
So
she was 3 when she started taking violin
3.
lessons. So
Wow. I
22
keep
years.
thinking she was 5, but she was 3.
She was
Yeah.
3.
So my oldest daughter, we homeschooled, and my oldest daughter took violin lessons, and so your daughter was one of the first students
Right. So
in
I
that.
didn't really know you very well, but you stood up in the homeschool meeting, the first Agape homeschool meeting, and you're like, I have a daughter. I think she might have even been in the audience with you.
Yes, she came with
And
me. Yeah.
she wants to give violin lessons. And so I was just really perplexed by that and thought that sounded really cool. And so I connected with you and we came over and then shortly after that, Brittany started taking lessons from Julie too.
Right, right. That was so great. That was
Yeah,
some of the greatest times.
I
And
know.
that's what I really encourage people, some of the people in the chat box. have kids and they homeschool, or they want to homeschool, or they've thought about it. And that's one of the things I really loved was music. That was a huge
Yeah.
part of our, and
Yeah.
it also brought in not just the music itself, but the connections with people. And it was a ministry also, because we also not only did the music at home, but we did music at nursing homes and
Right. At
um,
well, what is the name?
the Wellstone House.
One house. Yep.
Yeah, so it was a huge part of our life. And actually, my younger kids aren't really into much music, so I really miss it. That's something I want to get going at some point, you know. So, yeah, so that's great.
Yeah.
So that's probably been what, 22 years then?
22 years, I think.
Yeah.
Right around, like it would be 22 years right around this fall. Yep.
Yeah. So that's doesn't seem like that long, but then again, it seems like it's been great. Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I met Mary. She had 2 kids, and Mary helped me a lot when, let's see, my oldest was 8th grade, I think, at that time. And so she was able to do a lot at home. But then when I had the younger kids, I would like to have friends come over to kind of help out if I was in the hospital or different things. So Mary came over with her 2 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you would be in labor, like one time we were trying to help you when we were cleaning, we were vacuuming, and we broke your vacuum cleaner. Like,
Yeah.
anyway, we would just try to make things nice. And Stacy and Julie were always really awesome about showing us what to do and stuff. That was a lot of fun. And I would always say, my friend with the so many kids, my friend with the so many kids, and it filled up to 13. My friend with the 13 kids.
Yeah, and now it's like we've gotten together, and you and Louisa both have more kids than I do at home at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm the one with the smaller family. So it does seem weird. It seems really weird.
Today, my husband and I, that we'd be empty nesters right now. And Louisa,
yeah, oh, definitely.
Carol and I were talking about that together just the other day too. What our life would be like if we didn't ever adopt, you know.
Yeah, and that's a thing that well, I just know that to start this off, you know, I think at this time, you know, Mary, I've been trying to get with Mary for a few weeks now, and we've kind of pushed it off. But, you know, there's a lot of bad stuff in the news right now, and there's a lot of hard times going around our world. And if people will just stick to the news and, you know, dwell on all of the negativity that's going on in our world, it can make you almost immobilize you, and you feel like, you know, I can't move. I can't keep going. I feel like, you know, emotionally being strangled, right?
Right.
But I thought this is a really good chance for us to share that there are some good things happening, and that we need to keep our hopes up, and that we can look at those people that are really making a difference for good. And, you know, all through these last so many years, there's a homeschooling force of people that have been praying for each other, encouraging one another, making a difference where they live. And I know in my life, Mary was a big help to me. You know, my daughter was going to teach violin lessons, and we thought we were giving a service. I think she charged like $4 a lesson or something like that. 5. And so
always be more than a half hour.
yeah, sometimes people would be like, that is not enough. We need to pay you a little extra, you know. But in my opinion, it was like other people were giving us the chance to increase our own skills. And you know, Stacy put a lot into it, and she was very organized. And she benefited a lot from the parents that came in for her students. And so we thought we were giving a service, but then we also made great friends and lifelong friends through that experience. So I just want to encourage people that, you know, sometimes right now we're quarantining, you know, but there's still ways to reach out and encourage people and be a blessing to people. And yeah, so that's something that, you know, homeschooling is not what we're doing right now. you know, quarantining is not homeschooling. I mean, in a way, we're homeschooling, but homeschooling, I always had on my mind of ministry. How can I help? Like my kids went up to the nursing home up the street. And how can we help people? How can we encourage these kids to, like, for my kids, I wanted them to be good leaders. I wanted them to be able to speak in a group
Yeah.
and to speak to adults as well as children and those kind of things. So, yeah, so Mary has a million talents. And when I was making a list of questions, I'm like,
I
what
have,
do I want to focus on? Oh, yeah, very good.
yeah,
So, is there anything else? Your wife, your mom, you're a great friend.
I'm a,
What would you,
I'm a Grammy.
Grammy, what would you kind of, as if you had to make like a little short thing about yourself, what would you say?
I don't know. No dust settles on me. I'll say that.
Yes, I would say that too.
Yeah, yeah,
And for those people, like my friend Happy Farms, she's a really good gardener. And so, and Mary is an amazing gardener.
yeah. That's my happy place in the garden, and yeah. And I think more. It's interesting because the things like that we are doing, like this, I figured out this was my, let's see, 21st year of homeschooling. This year that I just finished. So, well, we're not quite finished yet, but so now, like with the school shut down since March, all of the people are basically homeschooling, right?
Right.
So the things,
Yes.
that we were doing when there weren't as many people, now this year, tons of people are gardening, like tons and tons
Right.
of people.
I'm gardening and I'm terrible at it. I'm just like, I wish I had kept up with it, but
I
yeah,
mean, it's
it's
a lot
good.
of work, but it's super rewarding. And there's so many, I find, character building analogies you can make through gardening. So,
Yeah. I
um,
think it's just amazing that you can put a seed in the ground and you can trust that it's actually going to grow.
and
And
not
that
only that, but it grows into this ginormous something or other.
that gives me hope. Like even my flowers of my irises that came up that were my grandmother's, I transplanted from her garden. It gives me hope and it shows me the faithfulness of God.
Yeah.
And this right here, my background is in honor of Mary because we both
That's
love
my favorite
sunflowers.
thing. I love to tell us about it. Yes. I have my closet door. It has
Well, I
not.
am learning new things about the computer all the time, and my friends on the chat box know I'm always coming out with something new. And I just barely figured out the green screen, and I was going searching just before this to find just the right picture.
I don't know what the green screen is, but your screen looks a lot nicer than my screen. So that must.
Well, I have a green piece of fabric behind me. I can
Oh,
actually show you, and then you put a picture. I don't want to mess it up, but I'll show you. See?
oh,
Yeah, so it's really cool. So I'm trying to encourage all my friends to try it. So I'm kind of like being pioneer. Well, we have some other friends that do it, but some people take to computers and it's like this,
that's
so
not me.
easy.
And I will tell you, that is not me at all.
And for me, it's been like I've been trying to do green screen for like a year now. It's taken me a long time to figure it all out. So I feel very accomplished
Yeah, you
at
should.
this
You
point.
really should.
So, and then I just learned this type of forum, um, and I'm trying to. If anybody has any questions for Mary, I can put them right on the screen.
Okay,
So
cool.
this is a new thing, the StreamYard. This is brand new. So that's something new I'm learning too. So we talk. Oh, I have a good question for you.
Yes.
Are you rich? You
No,
have all those
no,
kids. You must
listen,
be rich.
ask me all the questions that people always ask when they find out the size of our family. No,
That's what people ask me too.
my husband is a self-employed carpenter who just March 19th fell off a 20-foot roof and
Oh my word.
put himself in for just until last week. He just started back to work.
Wow. Oh, wow.
So that's his second major injury, like life-threatening injury that he's had in the last 2 years. So I feel like God is trying to tell him something. Not
Wow.
really sure what that is, but But anyway,
Wow.
no, we are self-employed. We are like, in order to get the stimulus package, let's say, that came out, you had to have $75,000 or less income, and like our adjusted gross income is not even half that.
Oh my word. Are you serious?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
You're poor.
we are dirt. We are
Well,
dirt.
I wouldn't know it. You are, Mary, though, you are a wonderful money manager and you are resourceful. Like, I think that's why she liked it at my house because I had all these little tips. This is
Yeah.
how you do this and save money, and you do this and save money.
You remember the Hillbilly Housewife? Remember that website? And like
Yes, that's
all those,
right.
like dirt cheap recipes like taco lentils and rice and all these different recipes that were so cheap to make. Yeah,
Right.
that was my training ground way back then. I had no idea when I had my 2.2 kids and I would come to your house. I had no idea that.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can remember we had like the pancake mix in a container and I'm like you just this is all put together, you just do this and this and so you don't have to buy the box. I like the box that you just add water, but it's cheaper to make it yourself
Right.
and that kind of stuff.
Yep,
Yeah.
and like Mrs. K's roll recipe, all those things. I still have all that.
So this is what I can do. This is what Kim says. Kim is one of my VIP kid teacher friends. And yes, that is true. That
Definitely true. Rich in love. That is absolutely, yep.
so thank you. So, and that's the thing with Mary, like she's a very loving person. She would come over. My kids love to, you know, like she would come over and they couldn't wait to see Mrs. Winslow. Like, usually kids want to see the other kids, which they do like the other kids too, but they knew they were loved. And so that's a blessing.
Yeah, that was
yeah. So, yeah. So is your house huge?
No, I live in a very small cape that is about 1,200 square feet, maybe a little less than that. Yep. But
Really?
nobody has their own room. We have 2 big bedrooms upstairs. All the girls are in one, and all the boys are in the other. And then Glenn and I have a room downstairs. But no, our cape is small. We live on 2 acres of land, and we joke about that now though because of the housing market. Like we could totally sell our house for this huge amount of money,
Yeah.
but the average house right now comparable to our house is around $350,000.
Yeah, exactly. They built houses down the street and Norm's like, those are nice, decent size houses. And I'm like, yeah, but the prices are even more. Like you would not, they're like $450,000 houses, but they're a little bit smaller, so they look more modest, but
Right.
they're still
But
of
they're
high
looking,
price.
well, and people that were looking at houses like in Raymond, I was talking with Louisa, and people that were looking at houses in Raymond, and they were 450,000. Those people were like, "That's cheap," and I was like, "What the heck?
I know. I don't know how people pay those
What kind of
mortgages.
mortgage would that be? You know,
Yeah. What
kind
kind
of
of and what kind of job do you have? It's
oh
not any. I know.
no,
And Mary, you've been a stay-at-home mom, right?
yeah. So I used to work long ago, but ever since I started homeschooling, I've been a stay-at-home mom. Yep. So
Yeah. So it's just
yeah,
a one-income family. So
that's it.
I'm kind of pointing that out because, sometimes people think when you have a large family that you must be rich, you must have a huge house. And, we probably have a smaller house than people with less kids. We just chose to live more frugally and on one income. And,
Right, right. And
so
nothing wrong with like a dual income family at all. But like, for example, like when we first started adopting, so my daughter Brittany, who she lives now in the next town over from us, she's
Mhm.
with the 4 kids, and they live in a tiny house that's
Right.
a little under 300 square feet.
Wow. I have not seen it in person.
Oh, you would love it. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. But anyways, so she went to public school. I was in school to be a teacher. My mother was a teacher. And I was in college to be a teacher, and she was in the public school in Deerfield where we lived at that time. And then Madeline, our daughter, came 5 years later. And anyway, I was doing a substitute teaching assignment in the 7th grade. And I was just really like overwhelmed by what I was seeing in regards to the kids and the behaviors and the things that they were involved in. And so I came home and I said to my husband, I feel like we're supposed to homeschool. And so he did not come from a Christian family. And he's like,
Mhm.
what are people going to think about us? And
Mhm.
and I was like, let's give it 1 year. And if we want to, we'll just go back. But we never went back. And I mean, I threatened. So it was funny because when I would be stressed out, I'd be like, that's it. I'm putting you guys back in
Oh
school.
yeah.
And
That
Brittany would,
yellow bus goes
yeah,
by, you're like, "Oh, can't
and,
be that bad."
and Brittany would start to cry. But
Yeah.
Madeline, who had never been to school, was like, yes, I get to ride
Oh,
the bus.
funny.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
wanted to ride the bus. So,
Yeah.
anyways, but yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's been really good, to be home. But anyway, our first adoption, Grace and John from Haiti. Grace was 9 and she had no education at all. So she was
Mm.
like preschool level education, but like 4th grade age. And
Mm.
because of her ethnicity, we live in a white community here. And so homeschooling worked out super well because she didn't know English either. And John was 2, so he was little, but Grace knew no English. And so she was the most dedicated student, and she graduated at 19. Like, so
Oh, good for her. Yeah.
and like straight A student here in our
Oh,
homeschool. So,
awesome.
yeah.
Oh, that's great. And she's very musical too. She's got a
Oh,
wonderful
yeah.
voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so she plays the piano, right?
She plays the piano and she plays the clarinet. She played the clarinet with me in the Epsom Town Band.
Right. Wow.
Then
Yeah.
ever since she's come to us, her and Madeline's voices were as though they were made to sing together.
Yeah.
So that was really cool too.
Yeah. That was really very cool.
Homeschooling has really benefited us in that way. And then on the other side, like years later, 5 years ago, when we brought Jerry and Joanna home from Bulgaria, Jerry was 10 and again, no English. And I thought, I can do this. I did this with Grace, and I tried everything with him and just nothing was working. So we already had some special needs kids in the public school in Barnstead. And so I had Jerry tested and he tested really age appropriate for like taking care of himself and like chores and things. Academically, he tested at preschool level.
Wow.
So, and by that time he was 13.
Wow.
So we felt like we were running out of time. So he's been at our high school in their hands-on high school program, and that's been phenomenal. So I've always maintained a good relationship with our public school, and both Maddie and Brittany did music there and band and stuff. And so that's been a great resource for us too with our special needs kids.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. So, do you have tons of patience?
No. No.
You have all those kids. You must have tons of patience.
No,
I love that one.
So my girls are in a Christian dance studio over in Hooksett, and so with the coronavirus, all that got shut down in March. But then our governor reopened last week. Starting last week, he reopened small fitness classes, and that included dance studios. Okay?
Oh, good.
So our dance studio opened. However, so I would go there on Mondays, and Nicole, Rosie, and Mira all had classes on Mondays, and I would be there previously to the coronavirus with other moms hanging out and knitting and doing things like that for like 3.5 or 4 hours. And now it's back open. So we did virtual dance for all those months of the coronavirus. But now that it's back open, there's no waiting room people. So I had to go.
Oh, right.
About patience yesterday was a good example. Back into the swing of getting to Hooksett for their classes, which started a little earlier, with everything like back on track. I was so frazzled trying to get out of the house, and
Yeah,
everything was
believe it.
going wrong. Like everything was going wrong, and I had to call Jonathan, my son, and apologize to him because I just So anyway, no,
So how many girls do you have doing dance now?
I have Nicole, who's 15, and she's in ballet. This is her second year of ballet. And then I have Mira, who's 11, and she's in a special needs dance class there, which is super cool. And then I have Rosie, who's 8, and she's in jazz and gymnastics there. So, and then tonight is Nicole. So last year, Nicole said to me, "Mom, I want to do the adult team tap dancing class with you." And I'm like, seriously?
Oh, cool.
I've never tap danced in my life.
Wow.
I never took dancing lessons except ballroom dancing before Glenn and I got married long ago. So when your 14-year-old daughter says, "I want to do this with you," right? So then I mentioned it to my friend Martha, who's 78.
Yes.
And I said, and she said, "I used to tap dance. I want to do it too." So
Really? Oh my goodness.
So Tuesday night. So tonight
Great.
we're back to tap dancing. Yes.
Wow. Well, I have a friend who's a VIP kid teacher. She might watch this video. Her mother, she did an interview with her mom on YouTube, and her mother calls out square dances. Yeah, she calls out, and she said she had a whole new one for the coronavirus thing, so that you're not touching. And she actually did part of it for us.
Oh my gosh.
But, yeah, that's Cindy Pummer, guys. She her mother calls out square dancing, and also her mother is a clown. She reminded me a lot of you and your family because her mother's very outgoing, and she loved the clown community, and she actually got the whole family to do clowning like all their childhood.
Wow.
And like they did do it in churches, like for VBS. Oh, Cindy's here. Yeah, so Cindy, this is my friend Mary, and her father is the one that he did clown, right?
Her father was a Shriner clown.
Shriner. Yeah. He was a Shriner. Okay.
Yeah. And his clown name was Zip the Clown, because he was a postmaster, former postmaster. So he had that as his
Cool. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, Cindy Pummer lives in Texas, so a lot of these friends, we live like all over the country, but we're kind of meet up on YouTube, which is really weird, but we've gotten to know each other pretty well. Hello, Luann, and I just say hello to everyone. Kelly asked if you were in New Hampshire.
Yes.
And yes, we met when we lived, like, we were like, what, 15 minutes apart when we first.
Deerfield and Raymond. Yeah. Yep.
And then Mary had to move up north, kind of like for my green screen keeps acting weird, so I'm fixing it. I think it's because the light is coming in. It's very variable on the lighting that you have in the room. But yeah, the price of homes is just really variable in New Hampshire. So they got a nice spot a little farther up north.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, patience is a hard thing, because I think that when you have more kids, you probably would be patient with 1 or 2, but you feel like you don't have any because you have a whole bunch and you're always pushed to the limit. Like you're always pushed to the limit of everything, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're getting ready to go somewhere, you've got to think about 10 people. When you're eating, you're thinking about 10, 12, whatever.
Yes, and we have actually left people behind. I remember one time you guys left Peter.
Yeah.
Behind. He had fallen asleep up in his bedroom, and
were you at the church at that time?
Yeah, we were at church, and we're sitting at church, and somebody's like, "Where's Peter?" Yeah.
Well, we didn't make it all the way to church. We
That's
actually
good.
had to call ahead and say we'll be a little bit
Oh,
late.
that's right.
We got like halfway there. But my other friend Trisha, that was her first time coming to visit the church. And we had to call up and say, we're going to be late because we got halfway there and we realized we didn't have Peter. So we had to turn around and go back. And he was like 5. And I thought, well, maybe he was still sleeping and he won't know that we actually left. And then when I got home, I was like, did you know we left or were you still sleeping? He's like, yeah, I saw you guys drive out of the driveway. And he's like, I just got back in my bed because I figured that you would be gone for a long time. Because usually when we go to church, we would stay and talk for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
But we tried to call and he didn't pick up the phone. And we're like, Peter, why didn't you answer the phone? And he was like, I don't know how. Because he was only 5. And at that time, we didn't have, I think the parents had cell phones, maybe flip phones or something. But we had so many people in the family that he never had a chance to even answer the phone. So
Yeah.
we're like that. After that, we're like, we got to teach the kids how to use the phone.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we
Yeah.
actually still have our phone in our house. We haven't,
We have a home landline. Yep.
yeah. So hello, Giselle. Giselle's just jumping on here. And um, so you already explained why you used homeschooling and you're glad you did.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to adopt?
Well, that was something that God definitely led us to, because my husband, when I married him, was not a Christian. So he's the middle child of 3 kids, and they're really close together, like a little more than a year apart. And he's in the middle. And then I am the oldest of 3 kids. And so I have a brother that's like a year younger than me, and then a brother that's 12 years younger than me. That was a surprise to my parents, and to us.
And he's still surprising you to this very day, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. My brother, my
He's
little,
always full of surprises.
I call him my baby brother. Yes. And so, but anyways, so we had our 2 girls and we decided to space them apart 5 years. Like we planned that. Okay.
Wow.
We both worked, Glenn and I. And so we had Brittany, and we were married like 2 years when she was born, and then we spaced it out 5 years. We
Wow.
thought we don't
It's a long time.
want these kids so close together because we were too close together to our kids, to our siblings, whatever. Well, Glenn was, and so
Interesting.
we thought we were so smart. So then and both of the girls had to be C-section because of my pelvis being so small. I was in labor with Brittany for 36 hours, and then they let me go 8 hours with Maddie, and then they did C-section. So after that, after Maddie was born, they sat us down and said, you shouldn't have more than 2 C-sections. You need to do something to stop this, from so that you don't get pregnant again. And Glenn was not a Christian, and we didn't have any counsel of any other thing. So we took that seriously, and we really felt like my health was at risk. So Glenn had a vasectomy, which he has regretted like since then. But I mean, and you can have that reversed and whatever. But anyway, so we had our 2.2 kids, and we were good, And then Glenn became a Christian when Maddie was about 2 or 3 years old, right around the time that we started coming to your house. And so then we just were like really drawn to foster care at first. And we started the process when we lived in Deerfield, but then we knew we were moving, so we put it on hold. And then once we got here to Barnstead, we started it back up again. But then God had other plans than foster care, and we started with international adoption. So God led us to Grace, our daughter. We looked at photo listings from an orphanage in Haiti, apart from one another, and there was hundreds of kids. And God led us both to pick Grace, and so she was like 8 at the time. And then John, we added on after. And then Glenn said, we're done. We're all done. So that was fine. We had our 4.4 kids now, And so then Grace had such a heart for adoption.
Wow.
She would talk to Glenn, and I did too, but
Mhm. But it's neat when the kids are like
Yes.
into it.
And so
Yeah.
he would be like, no, no, no. Well, one time, um, Grace gave this impassioned plea, and she's like, Dad, look what we have to offer. I came from nothing, and look what you've given.
Wow.
You can't stop now. So he came to
Wow.
me, and he was like, sign us up for the foster care classes. So then we became licensed foster parents. And before we were even done with our classes, we were presented with Edward and Alicia, who are twins. And they were 10 at the
And
time.
they're from in the state,
They're
right?
from, yep, they're from
Yeah.
Laconia. Yep. And they were 10 at the time. But Jonathan, our Haitian son, was only 7. And so at first we said no to Edward and Alicia because we felt like they were too old. What have they been through? What have they seen?
That's true. Yeah.
And we said no. And our worker was like, you've got to meet them. They play with like Alicia plays with dolls still. They play with Play-Doh. And it really was like they were just really, truly like 10-year-old kids.
Wow.
So we met them. And this is the cool thing about them. They were in a Christian foster home, and their foster mom really wanted to adopt them, but it didn't work out. So she called out to God, and she said, God, this is a tall order, because in foster care, anything goes, any lifestyle, anything goes. And so she said, I need Christian parents for these guys. And then when we called to set up us meeting them with her, she's like, I got to ask you a question. And she said, don't take offense, please. And I was like, okay. And she's like, are you Christians? And I'm like, yes. And then she burst.
Wow. Oh,
she was like, oh my goodness.
that's great.
So, anyway, and it's just so cool how God is in all of those details,
Yeah,
you know.
that is so
So
cool.
our adoption processes have just been, you know, like sometimes we think we're done, like especially when we brought home Jerry and Joanna was so profoundly special needs. And then we went to see the movie The Dropbox, which is a movie about South Korea and this older gentleman who created this almost like a drive-up drawer, like at a bank, that people could put babies in, no questions asked.
Right.
And if you haven't seen that movie,
Wow, I have not seen it.
you need to see it. And so we watched that movie in the movie theater, and we thought we were done. And Glenn turned to me and he's like, we're not done. And so then
Wow.
we went forward for Peppy from Bulgaria. And then Mira is a disrupted adoption, which means that she started in a different family and now she's with our family.
Right.
And we're just in the beginning stages of starting another adoption right now. That's very new. So, yeah.
Right. Awesome. So Cindy Pummer, she said that her parents were foster parents. This is well, you guys have a lot in common. This is the girl that her mom was the clown.
So she was a biological child, and they adopted her after 10 years. That is awesome.
Her mom is a teacher, and I just know her through YouTube, but she seems like a really awesome person too. Yeah, so that's great. Well, that's awesome. So you have like 2 from Haiti. Was it 2 from Bulgaria?
No, there's 5 from Bulgaria, because our first daughter before Joanna,
right.
Zoe, she died before we could pick her up.
Yeah.
And then we have Jerry and Joanna, and we have Peppy, and we have Mira. Mm-hmm.
And Mira, and she's from Bulgaria too. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Peppy. Okay. Yeah, because I haven't been over there in a while.
No.
So I know them all, but it's been a while since I've seen them all.
Yeah.
And then you have Rosie from New Hampshire.
You have Rosie. She was a drug addicted baby right from the Elliott Hospital. Yep. We got her at 5 weeks old.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. So I have not seen that movie, but I have read the book. I don't know if you were the one that recommended it to me or not, but it's a book all about adoption stories and how every story in there was like God things, like
God orchestrated.
It was just amazing to like miracles that happened through adoptions.
Yeah.
So that was really a great book to read. So yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So what do you think one of the highlights of your homeschooling would be? Like one of the best things?
I think just the time, like the time together, to be able to like spend like life skill time together. You know what I mean? Like not just academics, but like to just be able to share how to do different things like here at home, and like, and just like being able to cherish those times together. It creates an environment that's not all about like um, getting off the bus and you know, having to be tied up with all kinds of assignments and homework and all that kind of stuff, and then like rushing through everything. Like I don't know, I just really like the quality time and the one-on-one time together.
Yeah. And I think that that is it's good. It can be hard if you don't have like a schedule or something. It can
Yeah,
be
I
hard
think
because
I
you
have
might
a
you
schedule.
might have expectations and the kids have expectations. But I know like when I first knew you, and I had my oldest boy, I was always looking for things for him to do that were boyish because I had the three girls and I had the boy. And Mary's husband Glenn actually took Ricky under his wing and taught him some things about carpentry.
Yeah,
Actually gave him his tool belt at that time
yeah,
for one of his birthdays. So and that's the awesome thing too is, I know for me, I like had Ricky help me unclog the sink drain. And I've been in the school for the last 7 years, and there's a lot of things that I've missed about homeschooling.
yeah,
I mean, I've liked the regular school too. Like I kind of like both, but there are definitely things that I miss about, like you said, the practical everyday things.
yeah, yeah,
And the academics are important, but then like look at us now, like the academics are kind of thrown aside and now we have to quarantine.
yeah.
So now we're back to it. I told my friend, I said I was thinking of homeschooling next year, and then God said the whole world's going to homeschool right now. So I guess that was an answer to my prayer, so I'm sorry world. But I was like, I don't know what to do because there's some issues, and homeschooling is not a bad option. It's a very
No,
good option. But for me, I kind of liked having the structure of a day, and you go to school and you kind of jump into the schedule
yeah.
instead of me forcing the schedule all the time. That was just really hard.
Well, no, I know that's true, and there's different seasons for it, you know. Yeah,
Yeah, so I think that, it's just sad that our community schools aren't what they should be, because if our community schools were what they should be, we wouldn't have a problem. And
yeah. Like our elementary school is wonderful, and I can't say enough good things about it. I'm so thankful for them, and the high school where Jerry is too is really great. So I feel like we're in a good little niche here. And
good.
I was a little bit scared about sending Jerry, who was like such a, so like ever since he came home, he could pretty much grow a full beard at age 10. Like Bulgarians are really hairy. But he had the social skills of a preschooler.
Wow.
I was kind
Yeah.
of scared, like, to send him to
Yeah.
high school. Like, I was like, I don't want him to be bullied. I'm worried about all of these dynamics, but they have such a great life skills program there, and everybody loves him there. Like,
That's awesome.
and so God, I really feel like God, if you're open to him leading you, he'll show you, like,
Right.
this is what I have for this child. And so it doesn't have to be like all like strictly one way.
Yes, and that's what I think we've learned over the years. Because I think when you're younger, you think, everybody has to do it this one way, but then you realize that, and that's the good thing about America, we have choices, and that's what I try to tell people is that we don't have to, you know, look at someone, "Oh, you're going to school," or "You're not going to school," or whatever their choices are, that's what we're able to do. Hopefully, that will continue
Right.
as a country because that is good. Um, what do you think the worst thing about homeschooling was?
Um, I don't know. Well, there was a time when there were different people in our life that looked down on homeschooling, like, well, what, and they would constantly be grilling us and grilling my kids. Like, so one time we go to this, I don't know if you guys still go to the same pediatric dentist that we went to long ago, but over in Exeter.
I haven't been in a while, but yeah.
Well, so Brittany, when Brittany first started homeschooling, there was this dental hygienist there, a male dental hygienist, Richard.
Oh yeah, I know Richard.
He would sit in the chair and he'd be like asking her algebra questions and all these other things, and she hadn't like gotten to that, yet. He would like grill her or test her, and that was just kind of for fun. But we had family members and different people that would be like, "What are you going to do about a foreign, foreign language? What are you going to do about, world history? What are you going to do about this, or this?" And so, like, there was a period of time where we were barraged with questions about that kind of stuff. That could be hard for the kids if they were put in a corner,
Yeah. And I think that happened like when my older kids were going up in the ranks, but once they got older and they got good jobs and they were decent humans, people stopped with all that.
Yeah.
Like,
and
yeah.
It's funny because like one time one of Glenn's grandmothers was like talking to Madeline, and so like she was all about like college education, but when she said to Maddie, "What do you want to do?" and Maddie's like, "I want to be a wife and mother," right? And she's like, "Why do you want to do that for?" Right? But here she had 7 of her own children, right? But
wow.
she was, really interested in education, and she's like, "You've got your whole life for that. Focus on something else," But here's Maddie, she'll be 25 next month, and she's expecting her 3rd child. And they purchased his great grandmother's farm, and they've got calves, and they've got chicks, and they've got a big garden, and like she's living out what she knew that God had planned for her.
That's
which is
awesome.
really cool. Yeah,
that's a great thing.
Yeah,
it's a great thing. So let's see. What would you give for advice for people that might be struggling right now with the quarantine? And now, when I made these questions, that was before we have all the riots going on in cities.
Yeah, oh gosh. And this is the thing, like one of my older sons, Edward, he was telling me there were riots in Manchester, and I mean, like, so all right, we don't have television, all right, so that's something that we had made a choice about. We have a TV, so don't feel bad for us. We have a TV, and
right.
We have a DVD player, and I don't have a Roku box or whatever those silly things are, but I do have a plug that I've figured out how to plug into my laptop so that we can watch like Andy Griffith or something like that. So, and my kids do their math UC videos on our DVD player, but we don't watch the news. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I don't really watch the news either.
My husband goes out to work, and he listens to that New Hampshire news radio station. So he'll have information when he comes back or whatever. And like we watched the other day, we watched the Dragon rocket launch into space with our first 2 live astronauts in 9 years. Like my son Jonathan is all about aviation. So anyway, we're not like in the backwoods, like not listening to anything or whatever, but anyway, my advice is turn off your social media, turn off your cell phone, and just cherish the relationships around you, because worry and fear can drag you down like nothing. And I even found myself when I was talking to my son Edward, I'm not immune to it either. He was telling me about the riots because we have Jonathan, our brown-skinned son, right? He's 17. And I got thinking about that, and then a friend of ours, Sarah Lovejoy, do you know her?
I know the name, but I don't think I know.
She's a homeschool mom, and she's got some brown-skinned adoptive sons as well. And she put a post yesterday on all of that. And so, and they've experienced some hardships and prejudice towards their
My question is, who's at danger? Is it the black people are at danger, or the white people are at danger? I think everybody's at danger right now.
Well, and what I have to keep boiling it down to is God is still on the throne.
Yeah.
And these are people, you know, the people who are taking it to these extremes with rioting and things like that are people that have um, deep seated other things going on in their life. And so, for whatever reason, they're, you know, just going crazy. And the other thing that I find comfort in and is that there's nothing new. The Bible tells us there's nothing new. So, you know, this coronavirus, this plague, this rioting, you know, all kinds of different gender confusions and things of that nature. Like that's all been going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I just focus on God's word and prayer. It certainly gives us a lot to pray about. That's for
Yes,
sure.
that's for sure. Well, that's the thing that, first of all, like you said, you know, one person on Facebook said today, God must be really disappointed when he looks down at the earth today. And then I'm thinking, God's seen this before. God has actually seen worse than this, you know? And so to God, he's not surprised. He expected it. But we only get one life. We get one life to live. And this is our moment. This is our moment to do it the best we can. And so, like you said, you know, be informed, but not, you know, dwelling on
Yeah,
the
right.
negativity. But be prepared. If the time comes, I'm going to stand for what's right, and I'm going to do what's right, and I'm going to make my voice be heard when the time comes. Like, I don't have to go. And the other thing is, some people are saying it's good that they're protesting. I mean, there are some things we stand up for, like our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech, our freedom of, you know, life and liberty, pursuit of happiness. But what these people are doing in the cities is not standing up for anything. They found an opportunity to destroy things. And, you know, pray for our leaders that they can discern that, because I'm sure that's hard to discern sometimes. You know, people say, oh, he was just protesting. Well, you weren't there. You don't know. Like, some people will assume the cop did the wrong thing. Some people assume the person was doing the wrong thing.
Mhm.
We don't know because we're not in the situation. And so we can't begin to think that we know what we would do in that
Mhm.
situation.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm trying to do, is just trying to stay strong with my mind and trusting the Lord that he has a plan. And you know, it gave me hope that I am not a political activist or in any way, but it did give me hope. I know that Donald Trump has called to us to pray. Now, some people would say that that's kind of like not real, like maybe he's just acting or something, just saying. I'm hoping he's sincere myself. But some people say you know, cynics are saying he's just acting or whatever. But in my opinion, he has the right idea. And so for
Right.
all of us who believe the Bible, it's our chance to share the truth, to be the truth, and to show how to do it the right way.
Right.
So Edward is here. Look at
Edward.
that.
Hey.
Hey, Edward. Good to see you. Yeah, Edward, we were talking about you. I loved Edward because he's one of the twins, and whenever they would come over for lunch, and we would prepare for how many, like 10, 20, 30 kids. So
Yes.
we'd have like,
Yes.
and then because of all the issues with the kids, we didn't just say, moms are going to talk and you guys just go away. No, we were all of the same mind, where we want the kids
Right.
underfoot. We want
I
the kids.
have to pass this to Nicole because Peppy has a teacher meeting that she
Okay.
needs to be at. So hold on just a second.
Okay, so I'll continue talking, but when we would all get together, we would kind of all stay together. We didn't just have the kids go off into their own little places. So we would have three moms, and we would have a small house, and we would all be in the same small living area. And Edward always loved my soup. So whenever they were coming over, I would throw in some meat, some bouillon, usually beef bouillon, some veggies, whatever I could,
Macaroni noodles.
like the
Taco
stone
macaroni.
soup kind of thing. Okay, how many people are coming? Okay, put some more water in.
Um,
So Edward always loved my soup. So thank you, Edward. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And Edward's on his own now, right?
well, he moved out for a short while and now he's back home.
Oh, he came
Came
back.
back home in March.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, in
So,
March.
yeah.
Okay.
And it was actually came back home. And then shortly after that, they got laid off. So that actually worked out really well.
That was of the Lord then. He didn't
Yeah.
have to
And
deal with all that.
you know, he tried it and it was good, but it was challenging. And things are so expensive right now, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah,
Yeah.
he's back home. So yeah.
Good. Good. Well, that's good. I mean, I think it's great when young adults stay home as long as they're respectful and
Yeah.
they can contribute. They can be a help. You know, Ben's home right now and it's like, can you go get Lily or can you take Lily here or can you do this? You know, it's kind of takes the edge off to have another adult around. But he's kind of captive because he had to come home when his college closed down.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else? Oh, I wanted to mention that Mary's also a good example for staying in shape and being healthy.
Yeah.
So, what is your new endeavor you're doing for
So
health?
well, so about it'll be 4 years this month. I joined our local gym, which is a CrossFit gym, and I'd never done anything like that, and I absolutely loved it. Small gym, great group of people, and I did the 5 a.m. class five days a week. So I would go there, and Alicia and Edward came and did it with me too. And then it came to a screeching halt with the coronavirus. They had to shut down. So they were still doing virtual stuff, and so we, Alicia and I, did it in my basement. But then Madeline, a few months ago, joined Beachbody as a coach, and so she, her group was doing a boxing series for 6 weeks, I think, and I joined that, and I did that for 6 weeks in my basement, and so I've kept that going, and so I'm sticking with that, and I put my gym membership on hold for a while, and now the gym is back open as of yesterday was the first day.
Oh, good.
But I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Well, because during that same time is when Glenn fell off the roof.
Right.
So the month of March was stressful. And so the Beachbody, I have access to all their workouts, which is like, I don't even know how many, tons and tons.
Yeah.
And it was
We have
like,
a lot of friends that do that in the VIP kid community.
I did it for, I did a challenge pack for the year. It was like $149 for the whole year.
Wow.
Instead of $100 a month gym membership.
Wow. Right.
So economically, but I also really loved the flexibility of it, so I could do it when I could fit it into my schedule. So I still do it in the early morning. So I did the 6 weeks of boxing, which was awesome. I'd never done that before. And now Madeline is leading a group that is called PIYO, P-I-Y-O, which is Pilates and yoga.
Oh, okay.
That's like a muscle defining and shaping type of work. Today I sweated. Like I've never done anything like it. So Alicia and I are doing that for the next till July something. So
good. That's awesome.
So really
yeah, good. And I think it's really cool. I've seen where teacher Casey, she's listening. I think she might be in her car. She lives in Florida, but she's from like the Boston area somewhere. Okay. She does Beachbody, and but I love how they also fit the need for the camaraderie, and like VIP Kid has been good for me because I've had a lot of encouragement from other teacher friends. Yeah, and I've seen that with Beachbody too. Everybody's encouraging.
People are amazing, and
I thought Stacy needs to do that because I think she would even like to be in Maddie's group. So Maddie should reach out to her.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about it the other day, and I was like, Maddie's doing it, and that might be fun, you know. Stacy needs that. She has a lot of good friends, but I think that that type of thing just kind of zeroes in on your health,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and they, you know, have that
It's so,
strong
and
bond.
like I don't do the Shakeology, which is like their
Okay.
I I do their 2B mindset, which is a way of eating where you just plate up your food with mostly vegetables, you know, and lean protein and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I anyway,
Well, Norm has lost 30 pounds,
see, that's good.
and he's doing the Noom, Noom. He's just doing that
My
and doing lots of walking.
my friend just started with the Noom too, and she really likes it. And Glenn's aunt did that too. She lost some weight with that as well.
Yeah, he's hoping to lose. He says he wants to lose 40 more. I'm like, I don't think I'll recognize him if he loses all that weight. I'm like, just make sure you keep the muscles because that's what we need.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think I've recognized. He's been about the same weight for quite a while, but he lost it when he had the surgery on his hip, but then he kind of gained it back
It's
again.
easy
So,
because I know I love to eat and like food is really good and
yeah.
sometimes bad food for you is really yummy, you know? So
Yeah. And he's learned a lot from the Noom because he didn't know a lot of that health food stuff. It
yeah.
was really funny listening. We took a walk last night and it was funny listening to him tell me, you know, because I like cereal and milk in the morning. And I'm like, I'm not losing weight, but I'm doing the step bet. I'm getting over 10,000 steps every day. I walk every day, but I'm not losing. And I've always been like maybe even 20 pounds lighter than I am now.
Yeah.
But then I thought I was maybe too skinny, but I'm like, I would like to lose like 10 pounds at least. And he's like, well, that cereal and milk in the morning, that'll do you in. You're done for the day. I'm like, well, today I had eggs, but I think I really like the carbs. If I have eggs, I want toast.
See,
So
and
I have to break out of that.
that's like the whole trim healthy mama thing of you can have the eggs, but just not, you know, pair it with a energizing food like carbohydrates, you know.
Right,
So
right,
separating the fuels a little bit more uh, works out
right.
better. Yeah.
Well, I have also, before we go, because I know it's been a long time and we both have things we have to do, unfortunately. But have you heard of this new program called outschool.com?
I've heard about school. Yep.
Okay. Have you tried it?
No.
Because I thought it might be something, a good resource for you, for your family, or for you to teach and you can actually make money, or even Glenn could teach like his skills. A lot of people are making, like, you say you teach a class for 45 minutes, say you teach baking bread, which is something I might do, or knitting, and you teach for 45 minutes and you have 5 learners, they each pay $10, so that would be like $50 for an hour. And like Outschool, they do all of the like advertising and stuff, so they take 30% as their cut for your classes. But some people are making more than that. Like that's probably what you start making. But you can teach anything. And a lot of people are, from what I've seen, like right now, parents are asking for the specialty classes, like, you know, like knitting, or I've seen card games, teaching card games, you know, any little things like that. Like you can teach one-time class, or you could teach that same class, you know, 10 times for all different students.
Okay.
So it's really kind of interesting, but I'm thinking of maybe even putting my kids in a class or two just to try it out. But
Now, what would you put him in? Do you think?
I'm trying to figure that out. Like they have academic classes, but they also have those specialty classes. But I have some friends, like I have a friend that's doing Spanish, like beginning Spanish classes. And then like if you know the teacher, like you can interact with the teacher by email, and the teacher could actually make classes for your kid, you know,
Oh
however,
wow.
like say you want your kid to do Spanish and you're like, can we do Spanish and do these types of topics? And then that teacher could do that for you, but then open it up to other people also, and then that teacher can get like, your student in, and then you have other students along with it. It's
Wow.
kind of a cool program. Looking into it, I have an application in, it hasn't gotten approved yet, but I thought I might mention it to you
Yeah.
because it's
So
a good resource to avail yourself for your students. I'm thinking of maybe doing, oh,
so this,
yes, I
this
have a beginning one.
this is for Onesimus. Yep. Yep.
I
So
love it.
you're who got me started with those.
Yes, I'll show you mine. This is mine. This one is for mine's just started.
Yes, the
The
Latvian Brit.
beginning stage. Isn't that the hardest part? Just
I
getting
have to
started.
watch it. I have to watch it on YouTube every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the some of my friends on that watch my videos want to learn how to knit.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture of it. It's called the Falling Snow. Oh, I don't think I took a picture of it.
I have
I didn't print off the picture. I'm like, I'm not printing that off. I know what it looks like.
right here.
There you go. Yeah, so I started making these for my kids that moved out. So Stacy and Roger.
And
And
then
then,
where these snowflakes go, you put the name instead.
yeah.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So how many have you made so far?
So I made Brittany and Chris and all of their 3 girls, and then this is for Oni. And then I did Maddie and Mitchell and Becca and Addie. And so I'm going to finish this. I'm going to do one for Maddie's new baby. And then I have to do Grace and Jarrett and Leon.
Wow.
And so I like,
Yeah, I'm behind too. I have to do one for, I think this one was for, yeah, I have Freddie still doesn't have one. Freddie and Landon and Jaden, and Katie has one, but her husband doesn't have one.
now who
So
is
I'm
that one
behind.
for? Who's the one
This
for?
one was for, I can't even remember now. I'm thinking this was for Freddie. So Stacy was like, no, I think I made Freddie his. I actually, I don't even know. I think it's Jaden's actually because it's brown.
Okay.
He's Mexican, so I think I did brown. I try to do every one a different color too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So
Yeah.
for Maddie's baby, I'm gonna do camo. I
Oh,
have
that's great.
variegated camo yarn. So the basis, the main color is gonna be camo. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, online teacher dude. I love that you are using StreamYard. It looks great. I love the names there and how you can feature comments. Yeah. He's the one that showed me how to do this. He is a teacher for VIP Kid and he lives in Malaysia. So I don't know what time it is there in Malaysia.
Me either.
So it's a little tricky getting it off. So yeah. Yeah, I was inspired by him because actually on Sunday he did we had a new VIP Kid new pay structure rollout. So everybody was, so this online teacher dude did a really cool interview. So what I can do with this StreamYard, and we could try this again another time.
Yeah.
You can actually invite people on to the stream with you. So he invited people on, and then he invited a new person on, and he did interviews with different people.
Yeah.
And I just loved. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, so I really liked how that worked. So he was the one that inspired me on that. Oh, 11:37 in Malaysia. So he must be 12 hours ahead of us.
So he's staying up a little bit.
Yeah. He does really well. He actually recruits people and has a YouTube channel. So I am really honored that he would stop in and say hello on my And this is my friend Mary. She's not a VIP Kid teacher, but she has adopted children from all over the world. Yeah. So, and there's my friend Kelly. So all these people, they live all different places all over the world now. And some of them I was supposed to meet, like I was going to go to, we were having a conference in March that I had to cancel because of the, thank you, Tim, um, because of the coronavirus thing.
Yeah.
So that was really sad. It was March 13th
Uh,
that the actual conference was.
I was
Yeah.
supposed to go to a mother's rest retreat, which is a retreat that is for mothers of special needs children. And it was fully paid for. The retreat, the house is free, but Glenn bought me airfare and a rental car, and that all got canceled that next weekend with the coronavirus. And then also Glenn fell off the roof. Those two things. But
What day did he fall off the roof?
March 19th, John's 17th birthday.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yep, he fell right on his head. Like he really should be alive. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that was right at the beginning of the coronavirus when everybody was
So
like, don't go to the hospital. You thought if you just look at somebody, you're going to get it.
He got transported by ambulance and I couldn't be there. They stopped me. I went to go walk in and I'm like, that ambulance just brought my husband into your hospital. I'm sorry, you can't come in. I'm like, but he's incoherent. I'm sorry, you can't come in. This is what they said to me. If he's near death, we'll call you. And then we'll have to get approval from the hospital administrator to let you in.
Oh my word.
I was beside myself so much so that they sent a psychiatrist out to talk to me to make sure I was okay.
Wow. Yeah, I couldn't.
It was awful. And then our Darlene Pollock, do you know her from Raymond?
No, I don't.
Her husband had a traumatic brain injury, and that's been so stressful for her in the hospital, dealing with all that, with the whole coronavirus thing too. It's just really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been a really hard time. Now I'm comfortable. I'm, nothing bad has happened, but you watch your kids and you like, don't fall, don't get a cut, don't, actually Zach fell off his bike, like a week or two ago. And that was pretty stressful because he did hurt himself, but then somebody called 911. And the police had to come to check him out. And I'm like, you're not coming in my house to check on my kid. And I'm like, I will take him to the hospital if need be,
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was really strange. I basically had to tell them to leave because, but I didn't think, one of my family was like, cough, you should have coughed or something.
Yeah.
But I was just like, guys, do you know how many times I fell off my bike when I was a kid and not one person called the police?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need the police right now. Go find somebody who needs you. But it was really weird. It was just a different, like, just the whole atmosphere was different.
Everything is different. Everything is different.
Yeah.
Even going in the grocery store, and so like I have a big family with a lot of groceries, but it looks like when I buy a regular amount of food for my week, like I'm a hoarder of groceries, but I am not a hoarder of groceries. And we go through a lot of toilet paper, right? So like, I mean, but just the up and down, going the wrong way down the aisles with the arrows. And I choose not to wear a mask. Like that's just my choice. I don't wear a mask. I have worn a mask if it's required, like my chiropractor requires it. And I find that I have a hard time breathing, but anyway, but just the looks that you get from people, I mean, and
well, like when at Market Basket on the hamburger the other day, it said 1 per customer. And it was like, and it was only like a 2-pound thing. And I'm like, what would I have done if I didn't have, like I was making chili or something, so it was okay. But what would I have done if I was making for 10 or 12 people?
Right.
Maybe if I got special permission or something,
Yeah,
but
this is so different. I never imagined that it would be like this, but
yeah. Well, I got my 50-pound bag of flour, which I haven't done that in a while, but I got at the co-op. My friend Misty does the co-op. So I'm like, I'll start getting bulky things because we don't know how the summer is going to go.
Right.
But yeah, I wanted you to be on deck for if you have any extras in your garden, I'll pay you
Okay.
for produce.
Well,
I was going to tell you that before because I'm like, who are my friends that are really good gardeners? Because my garden isn't going to feed us very well.
and we are gonna, yeah, Glenn's building me a little vegetable cart for outside for the end of the driveway. But yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Definitely, because if I'm stocking up on mason jars and I want to do some canning.
Mm-hmm.
So the lip sync is off, she says.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I see it. I see it on YouTube. I don't know how to fix that. Um, that's weird. So anyway, yeah. So I was gonna say, be on deck because I have gonna set some money aside so that I can pay local farmers.
No, but listen, do you know Mandy Chanticleery?
Yes.
Okay, she does community share agriculture. Like she's done that before, where you pay a certain amount and you get a box of vegetables from her garden. So you should contact her because she's
Okay, I will.
right up the road from you.
Yeah. I didn't know she did that. Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
I know that she's done it before, and I know she's got a big garden this year.
And
So
Alina's a good gardener too. She's got a big garden going, so
yeah,
that's good. Yeah, but I don't want to take from people that, they want it for their own family, but
right.
if they have extras, then
Yeah,
I'm I'm saving some money just for that purpose because I know I won't have enough
yeah. And
for
I'll let
my
you know
garden.
next year. This year we planted 100 strawberry plants. So next year we'll have you come pick strawberries.
Oh, that's great. I should really do more strawberries because I do have a few plants and they're doing pretty well. That's probably the best. But in my garden area, I had a grapevine off to the side and I've left my garden for like a few years now. And I bet you there are shoots underneath the ground all throughout my entire garden area.
Of the grapevine.
Yeah, because I have torn them all up, but more stuff keeps poking up. It's like a nightmare.
Yes.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yes, they will take over. Yep. Yep.
I'm like, I don't want to know what's under that dirt because I think it's a nightmare.
Well, and we talk about whenever I'm out gardening and pulling weeds with the kids, I say, listen, let's talk about pulling up the root of a problem in your life. Right?
That's what I thought of as far as like this all this stuff going on. I'm like, this is like the grapevine. Like it started with a tree and now we've got all these different
And
things.
they're hidden underneath. And you can
Yes.
pull the green stuff that shows above the dirt and you can pull it right out. But if you don't dig way in and pull the roots up, it's coming back and it's bringing a lot of friends with it, you know?
Oh,
So,
yeah, that is a lesson all of its own, that right there. And I told Norm that's what I was thinking of when I was kept pulling up these roots. And I'm like, I know I'm not getting all of it. And I mean, I'm telling you, I was like fighting with, we cut trees. There were actual trees. We cut trees down. We pulled up roots. You would not believe how much we got out of there.
yeah.
But it's because we neglected it for several years. I didn't realize it was still growing and growing and growing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Because in the late fall or early spring, you can cut that grapevine down to nothing and it will grow back and produce fruit the next year. So it really
So
needs
how do I get it to stop?
I don't know if you're like, we have a grapevine and it's trained on a trellis and we like Glenn said, I think I killed it, but no, it came back. Like
Well, that's what I'm thinking. We've cut everything I can see, but
yeah.
I know there's still roots underneath. So I don't mind if it grows near the fence again. I would be fine with that.
Yeah.
But it's growing everywhere else. Like,
Mhm.
that shed, like under the shed,
Yeah.
around the shed, above up the trees. It's just unbelievable.
Crazy.
I thought I should have just tried to be a great vine dresser type thing because I should have just kept them and grown grapes because
And made grape jelly because we wouldn't make wine, but you'd make grape jelly and yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
But you might just need to at the end of this gardening season, rototill, like have somebody come over with a deep rototiller and just really rototill the whole area to get rid of the
I
roots.
was wondering if it would break the rototiller because some of those roots are really thick.
Well, if it was one on a tractor, it probably would be okay. You know, not like a handheld one.
Yeah, a motorized one.
Yeah.
Yeah, to chop it all up. All right, well, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so
Okay.
much for
Thank
everything.
you.
Maybe we can do it again sometime.
Do it. That's awesome. Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.